Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us today. We are going to get started in just a minute here. Annette, can you hear me all right? Can you hear me, Annette? Yeah, okay, great. I am Courtney Ness-Fuchs with North Dakota Assistive, and my lovely coworker Annette Gehring is with us as well today. So we will get started here in just a minute. You can find a copy of today's slides in the chat. Just go to our website and you'll be able to download a copy of the slides in PDF form. There are some clickable links in there, so go ahead and do that when you get a chance. And I'm also going to do a quick poll pre and post survey so we can see how effective we are and hopefully just continue to provide good and effective webinars that serve those who serve. So I'm going to launch the poll here. And I'm going to give everybody a minute or so to launch the poll. It looks like it deleted part of my question, which is just great. Oh, there it is. So what I'm asking you to do is rate your knowledge of smart home devices prior to today's webinar, so right now, and then we'll have another one at the end. So 1 being, I don't know anything, and 10 being, I know it all. So if you could go ahead and complete that, that would be very helpful. I see lots of responses coming in, so that is wonderful. I'll leave it open for a few seconds here. Okay, I'm going to end the poll here. All right, so most folks seem to be around the 3 to 6 range, with a couple outliers in the high knowledge range. So I'll be hopeful that you learn a little something from this webinar. So thank you guys for participating in that. And close that. Once again, my name is Courtney Ness-Fuchs. I am the Assistive Technology Trainer with North Dakota Assistive, and today we are just doing a short half-hour webinar on smart home basics. If you have any questions at any time, please feel free to raise your hand or put it in the Q&A. We will do our best to answer those, and if we don't get to them before the end of the webinar, we will reach out to you and get your questions answered. This is meant to be kind of interactive, so please don't hesitate to ask questions. You can access a live transcript through the controls on the bottom of your screen. And we will also be recording this webinar, so you can access it at a later date, or if you want to share it with coworkers or colleagues, etc. And with that, I'm going to begin. Annette, can you give me a quick yes if you can see my screen?
Not yet.
Not yet, okay. I am new to the webinar platform, so I appreciate everyone's patience as we navigate this. Okay, now you can?
Got it. Yes.
Great, thank
You're
you.
good.
Okay. All right, so today we're going to go through some smart home basics. We want to be able to give a basic description of what a smart home is, talk about some basic components of a smart home, and then have a few ideas about how a smart home can foster safety and independence either for yourself, a loved one, or someone you serve. So what is a smart home? It's a movie from the 90s on Disney Channel. You can still find it on Disney Plus, but a smart home is generally a home that has environmental controls and devices that are connected to the internet that can be controlled automatically or remotely. And so what do you need to get started with the smart home? These are the things that I have found are required. I've set up a fair number of smart homes for lots of different folks. I have a smart home myself. This is what you need. 1, you need a strong, consistent Wi-Fi network. 2, you'll need a smartphone or a tablet to keep setting up and for maintenance. And then 3, you might need a smart hub for certain devices. But the most important thing, absolute most important, is you need a point person. You need somebody that's going to be responsible for regularly checking on the smart home, making sure things are up to date, that we're connected to the internet, that, you know, somebody didn't unplug a device while they were cleaning, replacing batteries, that sort of thing. So if you don't remember anything else, please remember that if you're going to do any smart devices, it's so crucial that you have a point person. And so how do we get started? We usually start with a smart hub. So 2 common ones are Amazon's Alexa devices or the Google Nest Hub Max. So these are smart home control centers with screens. You can get ones without screens too, just depends on the needs of the person. There's also Siri and some Samsung SmartThings hubs, but these 2 are the ones we generally see, that Amazon Alexa and Google Nest Hub Max. And then what can you control in a smart home? You can control almost anything you can think of. And I don't say that to be dramatic. It's true. You can really control almost anything you can think of. It's just a matter of how do we do that? So very basic things we often see requested first are just being able to control lights, whether that's an overhead light or I want to turn on my Christmas trees or my fun little disco ball over there. I want to turn them on. So lights, and that can be done either with a light bulb or it could be through a smart plug that a lamp is plugged into. It could be a wall mounted switch. So this TP-Link one in the middle here, this is just a wall switch that's smart, so you can control it either by going over to the switch and touching it, going into the Casa app, which is the maker of this smart switch, or by giving voice commands. Fans are another big one. People want to be able to control your environment, your comfort. So it could be a ceiling fan, a portable fan, etc. Smart plugs, great place to start, really basic. You can often get a 4-pack for $30, especially around Black Friday, Prime Day, great times to be looking at smart home devices. So a smart plug is basically just a little plug, put it into the wall, and you can, anything that plugs in can be on there, anything that plugs in. Thermostats are huge, a video doorbell, locks. So a door lock, maybe it's a deadbolt. You can also do your doors. There are smart doors you can control. Garage doors, window coverings are a big thing we see. Shades, blinds, etc. The picture on the right here shows a person installing some curtain movers onto a curtain rod. So that way you can control it using your smart device or voice commands. Again, it's pretty much anything that you can turn on and off that has a plug. Next thing is how much smart home can benefit when you are wanting to give independence and still keep someone safe and have that peace of mind. So remote monitoring, I'm going to do a more in-depth webinar in a couple months on this, but just kind of get your juices flowing about things we can do with remote monitoring. So there's cameras, there are contact sensors. So to let you know if a door has been opened, maybe it's, did the fridge open? Did I forget to shut the door? That type of thing. Motion sensors are another one we see. Okay, so maybe I don't need to be in the room with a person, but I do need to know when they're getting up If they're getting up 10 times during the night, maybe we need to address that. Figure out what the root cause of that. How do we keep them safe? How do we help them get better sleep? Smoke and fire alarms are also very popular things to keep monitoring. Water sensors, temperature sensors. So if you have someone that doesn't always know what an appropriate temperature is in their environment, maybe they like the fresh air and it's 20 degrees and they keep opening their windows because they want that fresh air. You're like, really not a good temperature to do that at. So a temperature sensor will see, oh, look it's 40 degrees in Jesse's apartment. We need to talk with her about how we can address that. Okay. And then smart homes are a fantastic way to give access to things that enrich our lives, that communication, entertainment type of devices. So one of the most frequent calls I get is I want to be able to control my TV, or my client wants to be able to control their TV, but they can't use the remote. Maybe they can't physically access the buttons cognitively. There's just way too much stuff on there. How do we help them use that remote or control their TV? Still be able to see the TV without having to have always someone coming in, turning it on, getting to the right channel. Okay. I have a client that has MS. She's a young woman. She really doesn't want everybody to know all the shows she wants to watch and what she wants to watch on YouTube, the books she wants to read. So we set her up with an iPad that's connected with her smart devices, and she uses what's called voice control to access that. And she can go in and she can switch between all of her different media sources without having someone see what smut novel she's currently wanting to read. So TV is a big one. Um, you can also do music, obviously, audiobooks. Um, those are just huge ones. We have another client who wants to be able to read his books on the big screen on his TV. So he's got ebooks, and then he uses switch control to read his ebooks on the TV because he has a smart TV, and that's how we have it set up for him. Other ways you can keep connected are by doing calls with family members. Many different ways. Maybe it's just a voice call, a quick, hey mom, how's it going? Are you feeling well today? Maybe mom doesn't always know how to pick up the phone anymore, or she gets confused. Or you want to check and see, usually she's called me by now. I wonder how she's doing. You can check in using drop-in on the Amazon platform. So drop-in is a video calling mechanism where the receiving person, the person who's receiving the drop-in call, doesn't need to do anything. They don't need to touch anything. They don't need to give a voice command or anything. Basically, what you do is you could say it on your own Alexa device. You say, Alexa, drop in on mom, and it's going to start a video call. And that call for you is going to start, and your screen's going to be really blurry, so that mom has an opportunity to maybe she wants to put on a different clothes or fix her hair a little bit, but it's going to gradually come into focus. And then you're going to be able to have a video conversation with them, and they don't need to do anything. They don't need to touch anything. So drop-in is just a wonderful feature. And you can drop in from your smartphone to a device, so you both don't have to have those Alexa devices with speakers. Another use that I've seen is someone that maybe has a helper for their cares, such as they need someone to help them use the bathroom, but they don't need that person to be in the room with them all the time. They can do an announcement where it'll go just to a specific device or a care provider, and they might say, Alexa, announce that I need to use the restroom. It's going to announce to them that care provider can come in, but the care provider doesn't have to be in the room all the time. The person can still have some privacy and independence. Okay, you can also do gaming systems. So we are starting to get into this at North Dakota Assistive. We got a wonderful partnership going with the Able Gamers Society to get gaming systems set up for people. And then you can also use smart home devices as a sensory tool. So maybe you are setting the lights, you're changing the music to something that's soothing to them. Maybe you're walking through a meditation to help with a sensory need. And then smart home devices can also help a person with all sorts of things to be able to maintain their home and environment independently. Faucets, for example. Um, so my mother-in-law has advanced macular degeneration. She can't see on a measuring cup how much liquid she's getting out of the faucet, how much water, but she can say, Alexa, give me 3 ounces of water, and know that she'll have that right amount for when she's cooking. Appliances as well. You can give them the smart things just keep growing, but you can set reminders. Okay, the stove has been on this long. The fridge, maybe you're helping to monitor somebody. And you're not sure if they're opening the fridge or they're getting enough water. Some of the newer fridges can tell you how much water has been dispensed, how many times that fridge has been opened. So they can give you that. Kind of an old joke of mine is that I used to always want to be able to call my cat because I'd forget my grocery list all the time, and then be like, hey, Jack, can you tell me what's in the fridge right now? Do I have milk? Now your fridge can do that. I still haven't figured out how to get my cat to do it, but your fridge can do it. So these smart devices can really foster that independence while also keeping safe because they have automatic shutoffs and things like that. Keeping the environment clean with robotic vacuums and mops. They even make robotic lawnmowers now. I'd want to make sure I have a pretty smart lawnmower if it were robotic because my Roomba isn't all that smart at my house, does a lot of bumping into things, but it's also 6 years old, so there's that. And then pet food. You know, I'm a big pet fan. I want to be able to keep having a pet, keep them safe, keep them fed, take care of their needs. And so maybe bending down and filling their bowl is not something I can do on my own, but I could have a pet feeder that's automatic or that I set off with an app. Um, just tons of different options. This is just kind of meant to introduce you to the basics of what a smart home can do, get your juices moving, help you start thinking about, oh wow, maybe maybe Jimmy would really like to be able to sweep the floor, but he isn't able to maintain a standing position for that long. Maybe a robotic vacuum would help him with that. Just lots of different options. Oh, I clicked on my link. It's going to go up on a different page. Okay, and then how can a smart home be controlled? So you don't have to talk to your smart home. You can talk to your smart home, and it's awesome. You can't be too sassy though. Just ask my husband. They don't like that. You have to talk politely to your smart home in a clear voice. Regarding that clear voice, so if a person has more difficult to understand speech, uh, Google and Alexa are working on separate projects to help folks that have more difficult to understand speech be able to use voice commands with their products. It has come a long way. Um, so there can be options there. Another option is to use an AAC device. Use that communication board to initiate those smart home commands. If you can use a tablet or a smartphone, you can control everything. So if it's just a standard access with a touch screen using your finger or a stylus, you can use a mouse to control that. Switch access, eye gaze, voice control. There's just so many different methods um, that will allow you to access the smart home technology. So we just need to figure out how they're going to access it, what they want to access, um, and then get it kind of start going from there. You can also do smart buttons. So what these are is little buttons. So on the bottom of the screen, I have four little, they're round buttons. They are small. They are like smaller than a 50-cent piece, bigger than a quarter. And you can put pictures on there for maybe it's lights, maybe it's the TV for someone that isn't, that needs that support. And you press that button, it'll initiate the smart action that you want. And then lastly, routines and shortcuts. So what routines and shortcuts do is they can group actions together that'll happen when a trigger occurs. So the next webinar next month is all about routines and shortcuts and how powerful of a tool they are. But basically, a routine could be at 5:30 Monday through Friday. When I get close enough to my house, because I have a geofence set up, it's going to adjust my thermostat and it's going to start playing my music I like. It could be something like that. A routine could be a good morning routine where every morning it plays your alarm sounds and it starts kind of gradually waking you up and helps with that. So there's just a lot of potential opportunity to get you moving through that. Okay. And then if you want to know more, come explore with us. Please, we would love to have you. We have 2 smart demonstration centers. Thanks to the Christopher and Dana Reeves grant we got a few years ago. It allowed us to turn our demonstration centers that are in a home-like environment into smart homes. And we were able to try out the different ecosystems like Alexa and Amazon or excuse me, Alexa and Google and Siri and Cortana even. And we have a ton of stuff connected. So if you want to see this stuff in person, please give us a call, schedule us with us. We can give you a virtual demonstration too if you just want to see, can you show me what those shades are like? Or, we can do that virtually as well. And then we do have quite a few different smart devices in our short-term loan program. So those are free 6-week loans for North Dakota and Minnesota residents. You try them out, see if they're going to work for you or your client. And then before you try and obtain that funding. So you can access those services. Both are free through us. And we would love to have you come explore with us. You can also give us a call anytime or send us an email and say, okay, how do I get started here? Okay. So I talked rather quickly, but I wanted to leave a few minutes for questions at the end and respect everybody's lunch hour. So does anyone have any questions? No? Okay, that's okay. Maybe you'll think of some. Okay. I see Kayla asks, how is ongoing payment for the point person secured? That's a great question, Kayla. Typically, a point person is a care provider that's usually there, and it depends on the type of environment that the person is in. So uh, it really is dependent on the type of environment. Uh, a lot of times it's, okay, here's my, um, oh, I just lost my word. This is the OT in the nursing home, and they are my care person. They are my point person for my smart home setup in the nursing home. It could be um, I'm losing all my words today, guys, but I'm sorry. But I can help answer that question a little bit more in depth, Kayla, if you want to email me and then kind of address your specific situation. Okay. Kayla, you're right. You know, a barrier is how to bill Medicaid for some of these options. Absolutely. So billing for some of these options, absolutely. Um, we at North Dakota Assistive have started doing home assessments through the HCBS waiver and the DD waiver. And through those, folks have been able to be assessed, figure out what their needs are, and then purchase that smart home equipment, get it set up, provide some training from us, and we would train with whoever their point person is. And then often we'll do written materials, so that way they know when the point person changes, because we know care providers change rapidly for some folks, that knowledge isn't lost. And another person is asking, are there funding options that help pay for the smart technology? I know some of the devices can be pretty spendy. Yes, that is very accurate. Some of the devices, especially when we're getting into like blinds, shades, the big doors can be spendy. So funding options, look into if the person is on one of those waivers. There might be some funding avenues there. They will typically need an assessment. They will need an assessment to know what can be provided. Other funding avenues, sometimes family will get together and decide to go through that way. North Dakota Assistive, we have a couple funding avenues through us. We have our Possibilities Grant Program, and that's for North Dakota and Moorhead, Minnesota residents. And then we also have our financial loan program for North Dakota residents. So those might be some different avenues. Again, based on the specific need, we can kind of help guide you through what the funding avenues might be for that person. Well, once again, I want to thank everyone for joining us today. I do have that poll. I'm going to have you complete at the end here. Same poll. We just want to know if your knowledge level has changed at all. So if you can take a few minutes and do that, that would be wonderful. Again, please feel free to contact us, give us a call, send us an email. We want to hear from you. We're here to help. We can help you with where to get started, or you can call us and say, you know, what are some different options for smart shades, or what are some different options for thermostats, that type of thing. So there's not a wrong way to connect with us. Just give us a call.